we have a little bit of problem going on in the small business world, and that, quite frankly, Michael, a lot of our clients are terrified of us. Mm-hmm. Our target market is not a huge fan of accounting because it's not their forte. They don't want to have to learn about it. And we speak a totally different language than they do.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Palmer, and today's show is going to be a fun one. Our guest is Ingrid Edstrom, who is the CEO of Polymath, which is a bookkeeping business based in Oregon, and I will say award-winning for that matter. Polymath's vision is to make the world a better place built on a foundation of thriving small businesses, and its tagline is empowering passion through profits and puppets. Welcome to the show, Ingrid.
Thanks so much for having me, Michael. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the last bit there, profits and puppets, I'm sure our listener right now is wondering, okay, what? Did I hear that correctly? Empowering passion through profits and puppets. So maybe let's start off there. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how bookkeeping and puppets got to be a part of your tagline.
Sure. So the tagline for Polymath is actually just empowering your passion. The profits and puppets is kind of something I have on my profile at LinkedIn because we've got a couple different things going on. We've got our bookkeeping practice at Polymath, and then we also have our online show, which is called Ask a Bookkeeper, and we are basically working to create for small business what Bill Nye does for science, taking those big, somewhat intimidating questions and making them more approachable, more palatable and digestible, and a lot more fun. And the main way that we do that is with a puppet show. We're essentially creating Sesame Street for business owners.
Wow.
And this show really is bridging the gap between small business owners and accounting professionals. We have a little bit of problem going on in the small business world, and that, quite frankly, Michael, a lot of our clients are terrified of us. Mm-hmm. Our target market is not a huge fan of accounting because it's not their forte. They don't want to have to learn about it. And we speak a totally different language than they do. So we have this issue in small business where the most small business owners don't have a business degree, much less a marketing degree or an accounting degree. And they don't really quite know how to tackle some of these big ideas. And they're a little bit afraid to go and ask for help because it's like going to the dentist when you haven't brushed your teeth in a couple of years and you know you've got cavities and you think you're going to get yelled at and you're going to get drilled and it's going to hurt and it's going to be expensive. That's how a lot of small business owners see their accounting professionals. And we're working to start shifting that and making it so that we're speaking the same language. We can make the accounting profession as a whole and accounting professionals more approachable and teach small business owners how to do their home care in business, brushing their teeth, flossing, make that easier and have shows online that show them how to do that so that they're not afraid to reach out and ask for help and they know how to ask the right questions.
Very cool. And how has it been going?
It's been going pretty well. We recently did a Kickstarter campaign to get the first handful of episodes of our podcast off the ground. The Ask a Bookkeeper show has three main parts. There's our YouTube channel, which we've been doing for several years, and that started as kind of a labor of love, just a silly, fun thing that we were doing for our clients. And then when we got third place in the 2015 Firm of the Future contest, Intuit kind of put a big spotlight on it. And I said, oh goodness, my colleagues are watching my puppet show. This is kind of embarrassing. I need to up my game. So that's when we started really focusing on getting better puppets, higher quality, guest stars, those sorts of things, and really brought the Kickstarter together to turn it all around. And now we just finished the Kickstarter last month, and we are in post-production on the videos that we shot. We've got some great guest stars that we're looking forward to getting out on our brand new podcast. We're going to do a video podcast. A couple that you might have heard of, Sekou Andrews, who's one of the keynote speakers at QuickBooks Connect each year. His fantastic poetic voice is so motivating and inspiring, and I'm looking forward to introducing him to a wider business audience with our show. And also Ivan Meisner, who's the founder of BNI. I believe he's been on your show before also, Michael.
Yeah.
So getting to talk about network marketing and some of those great messages that we can get out to an audience of small business owners that isn't coming home from a hard day at work and reading a corporate white paper. They're surfing through YouTube and saying, "Oh, dear God, please send me a sign." So we're going to give them something that is much more approachable.
It's very cool. And so you're building an audience of small business owners, helping to really educate them and bring these concepts of accounting and bookkeeping a little bit more clearly and tangible for that audience, which I think is really cool. And so share a little bit about your business side of things. How did you become the owner of Polymath? And share with the listener a little bit of your history.
Sure. I started Polymath in 2008. I had been doing some light bookkeeping for a little local company. It was one of those situations where I was doing my job and everyone else's job and not getting the recognition or the pay for it. And one of the jobs that I was doing was the bookkeeper's job. She really didn't know anything about bookkeeping, and I managed to figure it out. I apparently have one of those brains that likes to eat debits and credits for breakfast. And after several years of working with this company, I realized that it was really kind of a toxic work situation that wasn't going to be healthy. And I went to the employer and said, "Hey, you've got a team here who's actively drilling holes in the hull of this boat, and I'm spending more time bailing water than I am doing my own job. And I'm not enjoying it anymore. I need you to fix it, or I've got to go do something else." And he said, "You know how much I hate confrontation." So I jumped ship and built my own boat. And the main thing that I focused on was the bookkeeping. And the first thing I did was become a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor. Took the desktop certification exam. QuickBooks Online was still very new at that point, but we got into QuickBooks Online pretty quickly also. And being brand new in the world and, not hearing how everything was supposed to be done, we really got into the tech, and that was kind of what differentiated us from a lot of the other bookkeeping professionals at the time. And then the other main thing that really started setting us apart was that I don't believe in competition. That's one of the main reasons why we started the Ask a Bookkeeper show, is because I really think that there's enough clients out there for all of us. And Ask a Bookkeeper isn't there to just bring clients into Polymath. We actually have a pretty full book at Polymath, and we're very niche specific at this point. So if we're going to make the world a better place, built on a foundation of thriving small businesses, that's not something we can do all by ourselves. We need other accounting professionals to partner with to make that come true. And we started a local organization before we knew about the Woodard Network and Woodard groups, called the Southern Oregon Bookkeepers Association, working to bring together our local bookkeepers and create a rising tide that raises all ships. And that kind of set us apart a little bit. And it's just been kind of growing from there. I've hired our first employee in 2012 and opened an office. And I'm kind of giving you the highlight reel that doesn't go into all of the work that all of that takes. But here we are almost 9 years later, and things are going pretty well. Vanessa Barrett is my wonderful business partner, and she started with us as an employee a few years ago. But January of 2016, last year, we became an employee-owned company, and we've got an intention so that every new person who joins our team from this point forward, the intention is to have them be an equity owner in the company. Because the most effective way I've found to have someone take ownership in their work is literally to make it so that they see that This isn't about fueling somebody else's dreams. We need to build dreams together. And I feel like that's what we can do as accounting professionals with some of the intentions that we're setting and what we're doing with Ask a Bookkeeper. One of the main intentions for the show is to have other accounting professionals join us on the show and to talk about their expertise, because at this point, the bookkeeping profession is so diverse. There are so many different niche specialties and softwares that we can focus on. There's no way for any one person to be an expert in all of it. And Ask a Bookkeeper is called Ask a Bookkeeper, not Ask the Bookkeeper. It's not just a way to bring people into our book of business. We created it as a platform for bookkeeping professionals, accountants, and other people who serve small business owners to be heard and pass those lessons along. And really, education is the best marketing we can do. By offering education to the world in, 3 or 10-minute snippets for free, we are going to set ourselves up as being the experts that people need, and they will come to us asking for more. And that way we don't have to sell ourselves, because if we have to convince somebody, we've already lost. It's not about convincing people to buy our services. It's about enchanting them.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful way to do it. Educating someone leaves such a great mark for the industry. And I love what you've been saying about building up your own industry of bookkeepers, and that rising tide raises all boats. Very much what we believe here as well is to empower small businesses around their finances. This is what is needed, is education. And for bookkeepers, this podcast really is about bringing information, inspiration, and a community such that tide can be rising all the time. So it's so great to have you on the show from that perspective. Now, from a business perspective, you said a few things that have been really interesting that I want to just jump back to. Number one is you have a very narrow niche or specialty, which is in the tech. And I think that's very powerful from a business standpoint, and many don't do that. And I'd like to hear just how you got into that and what you've noticed about working in a narrow market like that.
Well, it started with the tech, but I don't consider tech a niche. So we got into QuickBooks Online pretty early, which was really beneficial for us, because when it came to our area where we were focusing at first, no one else was doing QuickBooks Online. And it was like pulling teeth to get any of the other accounting professionals to even consider working with it. So we were a little early to the party on that one, but it ended up serving us very well in the long run. When I say niche, I'm referring more to an industry niche. And I think that it's really important that accounting professionals start focusing on an industry. And the reason for that is because when we focus on an area of specialty, it makes it so that we can really pinpoint who are our favorite clients, who are those ideal relationships that we really want to work with all the time.
Totally agree.
And by really focusing on those relationships, we can ensure that we're offering the best service to our clients. And at the same time, we don't have to do as much continuing education. So there's a lot of industries that really require a bit more specialty knowledge. And they're industries that we've touched on in the past with Polymath. But then as we were looking and saying, you know what, we're really spinning our wheels doing continuing education all the time. And it limits how much time and energy we can focus on actually serving our clients. If we're going to serve medical professionals and contractors and nonprofits, and lo and behold, here we are in Southern Oregon, the cannabis industry, which is currently undergoing a ton of legislative changes. It's such a new player in the market. There is a lot of continuing education that goes into serving that industry. There's no way any accounting professional can serve all of them effectively. So what we've done is we've really kind of narrowed it down and focused in on one of our absolute favorite niches, which is cultural and adventure tour companies. So it's not an exclusivity. When you think about niching, you don't necessarily have to serve that niche exclusively. We do have clients in other areas. What a niche is a marketing focus. So by directing our marketing to some of our absolute favorite clients, we're more likely to get clients that have the same needs as those clients. But at the same time, the other niches that have special needs that require other continuing education, such as the nonprofits and the contractors, we don't take them on anymore. We direct those clients to other accounting professionals who do specialize in those niches. And that makes it so that everyone is getting their favorite clients. Because why would anyone want to work with a client that isn't going to be their favorite client?
Absolutely. And I think what's powerful about it is as you've mentioned, you get to be an expert in that area and put all of your focus and time into that area. And that serves not only your bottom line, your effectiveness, your efficiency, but you also serve the client because you bring knowledge that others in the industry may not bring because of that focus, which I think is great. And some people get hung up on the fact, and if you pick one, you can't do anything else. And that's, I dispel that myth. It's really just an area of focus. And so I think that's an opportunity for a lot of our listeners to consider, who do they like to work with, and where have they made the biggest impact, and where has it been the most lucrative or profitable for their business, and maybe start to think about focusing in on that narrow area or narrower area like you've done yourself, which I think is great.
Well, and one of the other really big benefits to it, aside from just the satisfaction of getting to work with the most fulfilling client relationships, really is the bottom line. I got to tell you, Michael, October 2015, Polymath had 96 clients. 96. Today, we have 30, and we are making twice as much money.
Wow. That's shocking numbers.
So by focusing in on a smaller niche, switching to value pricing, but we've eliminated our AR, which is really, really nice. We used to spend 2 full days a month doing our own invoicing, piecing things out by day. We spent this much time doing this thing, and it just invited our clients to question our integrity, question every little line on the invoice. Did that really take that long? It's like Ron Baker said, they don't want to hear about the labor pains. They want to see the baby. Now we're focusing on the value that we offer to the clients, on the results, on the outcomes, and we're focusing in an area in which we're the expert. And there's no question about us being the expert. And if a client wants to question that, if they want to come in and say, well, yeah, but time, and does it really need to be this hard? It's like, you are welcome to go and find somebody who will charge you by the hour to, do some of these things, and we'll see you when you learn your lesson, or not, because your business will fail. But in the end, those aren't the best fit clients for us. And we're at a point where we don't have to take those relationships on and have to prove ourselves. We take on the relationships where the client is looking for quality.
Beautiful. So you've got a really interesting journey that you've gone on with your business. What would you say, as an owner, what would you say some of the key learnings have been for you?
The key learnings, I would say that the number one thing for me is go to the industry conferences. All of this shifted for us when I attended Scaling New Heights in 2015. So it's a little bit of a whirlwind to think about that the last couple years I've been speaking at Scaling New Heights, and there's been awards with the Firm of the Future contest, top 40 under 40, most powerful women in accounting. I'm one of this year I was the top up-and-comer pro advisor from Insightful Accountant newsletter. But September, October 2014, I was too chicken to go to QuickBooks Connect. I thought about an accounting conference, and I thought that I was going to encounter a bunch of older, well-dressed in their fancy suits, professional accountants that were going to look at this redheaded bookkeeping girl and say, what on earth is she doing here? That is what I had, tricked out in my brain. And when I convinced myself to go to Scaling New Heights in 2015, actually it was Katie Peterson, who at that time had her own practice up in Portland, but now she works for Intuit. She convinced me to come to Scaling New Heights and went to New Orleans and checked it out. And it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. It was 1,500 kindred spirits who were all helping each other and building each other up. And the continuing education was amazing. And it blew my mind, shifted everything. I got back from Scaling New Heights in 2015, and I turned my practice upside down. And a few months later, we got third place in the Firm of the Future contest. It can really happen that fast. It was a lot of work, but it can.
Wow.
And that's what I would love to encourage other accounting professionals to embrace change. Give it a try and see what we're missing. And you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be a specialist or an expert in everything, but reach out to your colleagues. It's kind of interesting, the Firm of the Future idea from the book Firm of the Future. There's the three main pillars that they talk about to become a Firm of the Future in the Firm of the Future contest. Being in the cloud, using value pricing, and embracing technology. But I really think that there is another pillar that is missing there. And that is collaboration. Collaboration with our colleagues in the profession, focusing on raising each other up, recognizing that there's no such thing as competition, and really educating each other, recognizing that we are in this together. And that is the best way that we can all succeed, is by recognizing that there is no such thing as a zero-sum game. If we want a bigger slice of the pie, then we don't have to fight for it and try to say, oh, well, that's my slice there and I want more pie. We get together and we make some pie.
Absolutely.
And it's a lot more fun that way.
It really is. And the opportunity in the marketplace is just so open and ready for people like yourself, business owners that need help. They need help. The economy is doing well in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, around the world. I mean, there's hot spots of problems for sure, but these businesses are growing and they need your help in order to make business grow, make those profits remain in their business instead of in somebody else's. And so I really like what you're saying. And we talk a lot on this podcast about industry events, associations, and how powerful they are. And you're a perfect example of where you went to an event, an industry event, and it changed the course of your business and very dramatically, and some amazing results that you've been able to produce. Which I think has a lot to do with your success. Is obviously your mindset is that you are a person completely committed to being successful in your business, and as well committed to helping others be successful. And, it comes across, loud and clear that it's not just all about you and money. It's about making a difference. It's about your customer, and that's produced great results for you. Yeah.
I think the main thing is, each of us needs to ask ourselves, what do I want to spend my time doing? If money were no object, money and time, if I could do anything that I want, what would that be? If I could do anything that I want with, unlimited time and money, my favorite conversation to have with somebody is about making dreams come true, about how to build something that is bigger than ourselves. I love talking business with our clients, because these entrepreneurs started businesses because they have dreams, because they had a spark of, I can do something that's going to make a difference. And those are the businesses that we really focus on working with. If somebody comes to us and says, oh, I think that if I, sell this doohickey at these margins and, then I'll make a pretty good return, and no, I don't really care about it, we're not going to take them on as a client, because that's not our favorite client. Now, maybe that's somebody else's favorite client, and wonderful, they're welcome to them. We all have different favorites. But asking ourselves, what is it that I truly love? If I could eat the look that people get on their faces when all of the stress melts away, and then they feel empowered and inspired to go out and change the world, if I could eat that look on their face, I wouldn't have to make money. I love it. I love it so much. I can't even help myself sometimes. And that's the main reason why with the accounting practice, but also the puppet show, people ask, oh, well, the puppet show, we're not monetizing it yet. I mean, it's to the point where we're working on getting in that direction. It does need to be sustainable. It needs to be able to support itself. But it's a labor of love for the last several years. But at the same time, I don't feel like I could just stop doing it because it's a lot of fun. In the same way where, Michael, do you think you could just stop podcasting? I'm betting that you probably like this a lot. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think what the difference, though, is that whatever it is that you do, it goes back to your purpose and core beliefs and values. And for us in our business, our mission is to transform the bookkeeping industry by helping great bookkeepers like you grow their business. And we do that through podcasts like this, through our Facebook group, through our products, our services, all of these things. But it all ties in. Some we do for absolutely no revenue aim, except for education, like yourself, education. Yeah. But if we just did it if our mission was just to make money, I mean, there's a million ways to make money. Would this be it? No, this is the one that we found that our organization has banded around, and we've done a really good job of it. But we're all aligned around that. So every time we're doing something, it's through passion. It's through wanting to make that difference. And we just keep asking ourselves, is this really helping transform the bookkeeping industry? And that's the primary question we have to ask when we're doing anything. So, it's a great aside that one of the important things is why are you doing what you're doing? Make sure that's super clear, because all sorts of wonderful things can happen when you get really clear about that, as it's really clear that you're super clear about what you're up to and why you're doing it. And sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Whether you have your puppet show ever produce a profit or not, it's still making a difference. So it's already reached that first aim. Now it's just the game, really, to figure out how can you make that pay for itself and even more. Yeah. And it's so funny, Michael, hearing your vision of really empowering bookkeepers to help small businesses and transforming. I think about that, and I also think about the Woodard vision statement, transforming small business through small business advisors, and our vision statement to make the world a better place, built on a foundation of small businesses. Those three visions are very similar and really build on each other. And someone with a lack mentality, a poverty mindset, might look at that and say, ooh, competition, their vision is too much like ours. They're going to steal our clients or we're going to be fighting over audience or something like that. No. We look at each other and say, oh my gosh, we have similar interests. How can we play together? And how can we help each other? How can we build each other up? There's no competition here. And, I teach at Woodard's conferences, and I'm pretty sure that if Joe were here on this call right now, he'd be like, yes, absolutely, thank you, because that's exactly what we're doing, is transforming small businesses through small business advisors. Absolutely. And by doing that together, we have a greater, more profound effect on the world. We're able to reach more people because some of them might hear things differently from each of us. My audience might hear a message that I've been trying to speak to them in my words differently from you. And it might penetrate more deeply and get through to them in a way that I couldn't. And it just makes all of us more effective and more successful, makes it so that we can help more people. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, absolutely. I think what's interesting is that every business has elements that are their crown jewel, if you will, the thing that makes them so different from the other. So you could have two businesses side by side, both great businesses, both serving identical markets, but yet there's a subtle difference, and there's going to be a choice of the consumer or the person buying that's going to say, I want that jewel over here. Rarely do you see them have identical offerings that are the same. I mean, you look at Google and Facebook, they are two predominantly, they own digital marketing on the planet. They're almost 100% of all digital marketing spend is between those two companies. And yet they're completely different. The way they go about it, the way they're doing it, it's completely different. Yet they're going after those same dollars, yet they're applying the different methodology. Now, I imagine they both want to swallow up each other and win. However, they're following their vision to the T and growing their businesses, just like Woodard, yourself, ourself. And I mean, to bring it right back to a niche, right? If we were helping all businesses transform their business by helping businesses, it would be very flat, it would have no impact, because how can we help every single business on the planet? We have no expertise in every single business. And so the more narrow it gets for us, it's been beautiful because it's very narrow. The people that we serve, people like yourself, we serve them all over the planet. And the shocking thing is they're all very much the same, very similar thinking, characteristics, behaviors, all of that. So we get to learn that and understand what it is that you need, and we're able to do a better job of it. So I think that's one of the joys of being in a narrow market is that, there's people like yourself, but you're serving a completely different thing, but we're all trying to get to the same place. And at the end of the day, it is only about, for me, it has always only been about helping the small business owner, the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur, they are our future of our communities, a future of our countries. Because if they're not thriving, if they're not healthy, we're going to be in big trouble, because they're the ones that create the jobs. They're the ones that create all the innovation. They're the ones creating our future. And bookkeepers are one of the most powerful element to helping them be more successful. So, that's my deep, deep, deep passion. And if I look at my partners, Debbie and Peter, they have different driving passions and mission. Like my mission is different than theirs, but we align on the mission of transforming the bookkeeping industry by helping great bookkeepers grow their business. And so, it's just interesting if we look at it from both the individuals in a company to the marketplace. It's very, very powerful when you get aligned with your own vision, your own mission.
Absolutely. And understanding the effect that we're having on the world by doing that. If you think about what would happen, what does happen by empowering those entrepreneurs? If you think about what is an entrepreneur is somebody who follows their dreams so that they can do something that they enjoy to make money, right? Those are the main reasons why everyone starts a business, to do what they love and to make money. And if either one of those things is not in place, go get a job.
Absolutely.
If you're not enjoying it and you're not making a profit, then it's not working. Now, if you're not enjoying it, that's a personal thing. Why is it that you started your business, and what can help you get back to that? That can be looked at more emotionally. If you're not making a profit, that's something that you might be able to get some help with from a professional. But the main idea there is that when we say we want to make the world a better place, building a foundation of thriving small businesses, what that means is that we want the people around us to all be doing what they love and making good money doing it. Because when that happens, our communities will be made up of happier, healthier people who then in turn spend their hard-earned dollars, well-earned dollars, with other wonderful local small businesses who are doing what they love, and then we'll have healthier, happier communities. And when our global economy is made up of a larger percentage of small businesses, that is something that our legislators need to listen to. That makes the world a better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's been so awesome to have you on the show, and we're out there making the difference that we truly want to make, and really excited to see your show grow. It's already doing fabulous, and your business is doing fabulous. I'm excited to see the future.
Yeah, and it would be fun to have you on our show sometime, Michael. You can come talk to the puppets. It's like being on the Muppet Show.
I would love it. Absolutely love it. I am a big,
and that's
big
a great
fan of the Muppet
opportunity
Show.
Also for all of the bookkeepers and accountants listening to this right now. We built this show, Ask a Bookkeeper, for you to reach your audience. So if there is a piece of education that you would like to get out there, if you niche in restaurants and have a particular technique or something that you would like to educate restaurant owners about, that's something that we created this show to be able to do. And it makes it so that you don't have to know how to set up a YouTube channel and do videos and those sorts of things. We make it easy, just like how Michael makes it easy to come and be on a podcast. So we want to make it so that everyone's getting the right people, because if a restaurant owner calls us, we're referring them on. And
Beautiful.
How can we more effectively set each other up as the experts?
Fantastic. Now, we're going to have all the links in the show notes, but share with the listener now, where can they find out more about Ask the Bookkeeper and yourself if they want to connect with you?
Sure. Ask a Bookkeeper. It's pretty easy. It's askabookkeeper.com. And that is the main page that will lead you to our Facebook group. We have a closed forum on Facebook where people can discuss some of the ideas around the show, bring up other topics. And the main thing is that it's a really nice mix of both accounting professionals and small business owners. So a lot of the other forums for accounting professionals tend to get really, really technical. We like to make sure that this stays entry level, and the puppets are kind of our seatbelt to make sure that that happens. We like to keep things at 8th grade and below kind of ideas. You know, not to say that we can't talk about business. We're definitely talking about business, but we're avoiding industry jargon. So that's a great forum to really reach small business owners and connect with other accounting professionals. And you can also find our YouTube channel and our podcast from there. And then if people want to know more about Polymath and what we're doing, we also have a mastermind group for accounting professionals. We do a lot of education with other accounting professionals. You can find all that information at polymath.com.
That's great. Excellent. Well, Ingrid, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Michael. This was a lot of fun talking with you.
You bet. We'll do it again at some point. That wraps another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper Podcast. To learn more about today's guest and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.